If you've ever wanted to take your phone videos from this to this quality, it is possible, and you need fewer tools than you would think. Stay tuned to find out. The problem with bad phone photos or videos is almost never the hardware. It's everything around it. So today, I'm going to give you 5 fixes that will make your phone footage look genuinely good. This applies to iPhones and Androids. And they're going to cover things like lens, light, stability, and audio, and how to carry your kit. Most of these are free or close to it. Now, I covered the settings side of things in a separate video that's linked below. This one assumes that your settings are already sorted out. And there's a free checklist covering all 5 tips pinned in the comments down below. So for tip number 1, I promise you this is not a joke, but clean your camera lens. Your phone lives in your pocket, your bag, your hand, and that lens is collecting fingerprints and dust, and it's smearing that across every frame that you shoot. This is probably the most overlooked fix in mobile photos and videos, and the before and after will surprise you. For a quick clean, you can use a microfiber cloth to handle dust and light smudges. But if you want to properly maintain your gear, including any camera equipment you add over time, an electric air duster like this one by geminiconnectdigital is worth having around. It clears dust without any liquid or contact, which means there's no risk of scratching your lens or your sensor. And I personally use it on my camera lenses, my phone lenses, my keyboard, and even my camera body. I've been using this as a blower, and I just realized that it comes with all of these attachments and this filter, so I was like, there's got to be more to it. And so I pieced together that this is also a vacuum cleaner. So I went a little crazy kind of vacuuming my baseboards in this room that, is so hard to clean. And so, yeah, to me, this is great because it not only blows, but you can also use it as a mini vacuum cleaner as well. But seriously though, before you do anything else in this video, go wipe your phone lens. Right now. I'll wait. For tip number 2, we're going to talk about lighting. This is the most common reason that iPhone videos look bad. The best lighting available to you right now is free. So window light or natural light is the most flattering, whether you're filming yourself, a product, or anything else. If you have it, position your subjects so that the window is facing them or slightly to the side of them, but definitely not behind them. One of my favorite practices is to put your camera into selfie mode so you can see yourself, and then spin around in a circle, paying attention to how the lighting looks. This can help you find the best angle to film from. You can also try to plan your outdoor shooting around weather. So believe it or not, overcast or cloudy days are actually better than direct sunlight days. And I live in Seattle, so I can attest that this is true. But cloud cover acts as a natural diffuser, and it gives you really soft, even light without harsh shadows. Direct midday sun creates really unflattering shadows. So if you plan to shoot outdoors, the hour after sunrise and the hour before sunset will give you soft, warm light that reads really well on camera. Or if I need to film outside of that time frame, I try to look for a shaded place outdoors rather than trying to film in direct sunlight. Now, if you're shooting indoors and you don't have good natural light, here's something that surprises a lot of people. You should turn off your ceiling lights. More light does not automatically mean better light, and most home ceiling light bulbs are tungsten or warm light, and they cast this yellowish color that is really difficult to correct in editing. So if you want to use artificial lighting, the goal is to control it rather than just add more of it. This is where the sponsor of this video comes into play. This is the geminiconnectdigital SP25C, and it's one light that I would tell someone to buy if they are looking to level up their creative output. So here's the same filming environment that I do at my desk, but now instead of being on my Sony camera, we are shooting on the iPhone. And so I've got window lighting here to the side, and I've got another light here that is giving me a little bit of extra fill. I find that having that extra light, even with natural lighting, I mean, you guys tell me, but I think it looks a lot better than just doing natural light. But yeah, we're gonna see what happens if we turn on a background light, add in a third light to this whole situation here. All right, so this doesn't really look like a light. To me, it looks more like a microphone or something that's not a light. It looks like a flashlight, I guess. But yeah, not a traditional looking video or photo light that I would use, but we've got it mounted to a light stand. I've also got
a snoot on it to shape the light, but let's go ahead and add that to the background and see the difference. All right, so I've added that lighting to the background, and I don't, personally, I think it looks a lot more interesting. I mean, obviously you can play with the angle. I can even change the color of the lights or the gobo that I have on it. Right now I have that gobo that looks kind of like a window, so it looks like there's extra window light that's like shining in that direction. But yeah, this is a good example of using light not just on you or whoever you're filming, but just in your background. Like it adds some dimension that you don't get normally. And it just, to me, it makes my video look a lot more professional. The link is in the description below if you're interested. For tip number 3, we are talking about stability, because shaky footage reads as amateur faster than anything else. And it's also one of the simplest things to address. So if you're going to be walking or moving while you're filming, work on your filming technique or your body mechanics. So tuck your elbows into your body and move slowly and deliberately. And when walking, try stepping heel to toe rather than toe to heel. This reduces the bounce in your stride and it smooths out your movement significantly. If you can afford it, also look into purchasing a gimbal or a physical stabilizer to get ultra smooth footage. You can also enable any action mode or stabilization mode in your settings of your phone to add some electronic stabilization. I have a full breakdown on that in the settings video. But if you're filming in one place, like you're doing an interview or a talking head video like this one, make sure that you put your phone on a tripod or some kind of stabilizer. Or at the very least, if you have nothing else, just use a bunch of books or physical objects to hold your phone steady. Now for tip number 4, we're talking about audio. If you are filming yourself talking, whether for tutorials, reviews, or vlogs, this one matters a lot. So most phones have pretty good built-in microphones, like they're passable, I would say. But I do notice that especially when shooting indoors, I get a lot more echo from my room, or shooting outdoors, it picks up a lot more ambient sound than I would want. So here's what it sounds like using the built-in mics on my iPhone 17 Pro. By contrast, we're going to plug in another microphone and hear what that sounds like. So now I've added a wireless microphone. I don't know if you can hear the difference, but I know based on past experience that I definitely hear a huge difference. I just feel like there's more emphasis on my voice. My voice even sounds a little better, and it just sounds a lot more clean. And yeah, that's just an easy way to level up your video quality, is to level up your audio. Now for tip number 5, the last thing I want to talk about is making sure that your phone is actually ready to use when a shot presents itself. Keeping it accessible could be part of your setup. So having a wrist strap or a lanyard keeps the phone on your body and ready to use without thinking about it. And if you want to mount it somewhere, like on a tripod, a desk mount, or a car mount, using something like MagSafe makes that transition nearly instant. You just snap it on, shoot, and you pull it off, and you keep moving. Now, most iPhones do have MagSafe built in, but if you're using a phone that does not have MagSafe, you can add it by getting a phone case that has it built in, or by adding a MagSafe ring. So the combination of a good carrying solution and a MagSafe compatible case means that your phone goes from being in your hand all the time to mounted in seconds, which matters more than you would think when you are trying to catch something quickly. So those are all 5 tips. As a recap, this video covered the physical side: your phone lens, lighting, stability, audio, and carrying your phone around. The companion video covers everything on the settings side: the ones that you can set once and leave, and the ones that you should check before every shoot. I have that link below and on the end screen, so watch that one next. If this was useful, please subscribe. I post reviews and creator tips here regularly on Gemini Connect, and I will see you in the next one.